If you're looking for a book to read that could potentially be a 5-star read, look no further than Stephen King's Castle Rock story, Needful Things. Needful Things is the final Castle Rock novel set in Stephen King's fictional town of Castle Rock, and it is absolutely the best of the four. It is an absolute Bible of a book, coming in at 250,000 words, and every single page that you read, you don't want to stop reading. It's that good of a book. Let me give you a spoiler-free little teaser of what Needful Things is about. There's a new store called Needful Things that opens in Castle Rock, and the residents are really curious about what this is. The shop is like an antique shop, but it's a little bit different because the proprietor, Leland Gaunt, is this sly, devilish man shrouded in mystery who does sales a little bit different. He's not going to charge you an arm and a leg for something, but in fact, he wants you to play tricks on other people. Why? Well, you're gonna have to find out why he wants to play tricks. And in the meantime, you have Sheriff Pangborn, the main good guy in this book, who's trying to keep Castle Rock in check. Make sure everything goes according to plan and stays safe. But he has to deal with a variety of characters. Some drunks, some statesmen, and of course his own love interest who has her own set of problems. So with that, I leave the rest of the reading to you. Now, the second reason you should consider reading Needful Things is that it is a slow burn. Some people might not like that, but for others, they absolutely love it. And I'm starting to be a fan of slow burn books. Of course, in a book this thick, you're not gonna have action every single page. However, the plan, the mischievousness that goes on in this town grows and grows until it forms and comes to a head, and absolute chaos is unleashed. This book is so good. And Stephen King does a masterful job at sucking you in chapter by chapter. You see things happen. You see drama between characters. You see the story unfold, and you just want another page. You want another chapter to understand what's going on. It is a master class. So for any book to be good, it has to have enjoyable plot, good atmosphere, but of course, good characters. And this book has plenty. Sheriff Pangborn, we've seen him in the dark half, but now he takes center stage as the main protagonist. You've seen him before, so you have some, background with him. You know who he is, and it's fun to see him be explored further throughout the Castle Rock story, and it's someone who you want to cheer for. While the main antagonist is this sly, devilish man who is very interesting but shrouded in this mystery of what does he want? Who is he really? Is he a man? Is he a devil? Is he a demon? The character work is fantastic, and I believe that the main villain in this book is one of the best. I've only gotten through 13 books of Stephen King, but let me tell you, the character work in here is fantastic. And beyond just the classic good guy versus bad guy, you have a lot of other drama with smaller characters in Castle Rock, the town itself. You have an interesting relationship between Catholics and Baptists. You have an interesting relationship with Sheriff Pangborn and a woman that he's seeing, and their love is being tested throughout the book. If you enjoyed Salem's Lot for its world building and having detailed explanation of the town itself, then Castle Rock is going, then Needful Things is going to deliver for sure. You have this cool town, you have all these characters that play a different role. You've got policemen that you follow, you've got kids, you've got teachers, you've got convicts, you've got statesmen. There is so much in this book, and the world building is great. The subplots that occur around the main plot is fantastic because it enhances the overall story. It gives you more context about Castle Rock, and it gives you a better feel for the town, and you definitely feel like you are a part of Castle Rock itself. Stephen King just neatly includes all these different characters, and like eventually, once you read the majority of the book, you definitely see what he's trying to do. It all comes together, and when it does, you get this amazing feeling of just bliss and just understanding, and it feels so rewarding to read the story throughout and understand the master plan and the master author that Stephen King is. My final reason to read this book is for the emotion. All right. Throughout this book, you go through a range of emotions. At least I did. And it was fantastic. I went through awe. I went through shock. I went through anxiety and anticipation. There was creepiness in this. I was intrigued to read more. You think Stephen King can't do something, but he does. He really pushes the boundaries in this book. He's able to get your brain to manifest different emotions throughout the story. There are points where I'm laughing my head off because scenes are just crazy. There's others where I'm cheering on characters. There's others where I'm like, I freaking hate this character. You go through everything in this book, and it's a book like no other. It really is. You know, I'm still early on my journey in Stephen King's bibliography. I truly believe that this is my favorite book, if not tied for number one. It's a fantastic read. You're just amazed by how vivid different scenes are. And you're just in shock of like, Jesus Christ, Stephen King, what are you doing? This is insane. And he does it amazingly. So pick this book up. You could probably find it at a thrift store for very cheap. I implore you to read it. And please, 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 please make sure that if you are going to read this book, read it after you've read The Body, The Dead Zone, Cujo, The Sundog, and The Dark Half. You need to read the other stories before you read this one because it's going to give you better context, and there are some fun callbacks, some fun Easter eggs, and it makes you appreciate the story and the characters, especially Pangborn, a lot more. All right. You know, there are some parts of The Dark Half that are super important to this book, and it really gives you context, and it's super, super important. Sure, you can read this book by itself and you've never read the other ones, but you will get spoiled on other things. It is important to read this book last, and it's a wild ride. Hopefully I've made a good case for you to read Needful Things by Stephen King. It's an all-time classic that doesn't get enough traction compared to the typical stuff from Stephen King. But I truly believe that a lot of you would enjoy this book if you give it a chance. And yeah, if you have any book recommendations, let me know, put it down in the comments below. And as always, if you like the video, give me a like. If you really, really like the video, please consider subscribing, as that would mean a lot to me. And of course, Stephen King, forever.